All right, so let's talk about conditional rendering in React. Yeah, so when we talk about conditional rendering, it essentially implies, A, should I display A or B? I mean, to be honest, we've already covered that more or less, unofficially speaking, as part of the coding challenge review, but let's introduce a more formal approach. So, first of all, let's talk about React state. Do you remember, guys, when we explained the state in React? Maybe 10 days ago or something? Can anybody tell me how do I, imagine that, okay, let me present you the problem. I want to have a state with a property called age, yeah? And if I'm at least 18 years old, then I can join the club. And if I'm below 18 years old, I cannot join the club, something like that, yeah? So I want to have a state with a single property, which is the age. And based on that age, my component, the app component will display, welcome to Fabric London, or it will say, go back to play school. Something, I don't know, something like that, right? So can anybody tell me, please, how do you initialize the state in React? The constructor, correct, Andrea? Constructor, and then what? Super, fantastic. And what else? This dot state. Age, so for instance, we are like 24, right? So if you are lucky enough to be 24, you'll be able to buy the tickets. All right, so, and now, so just for testing purposes, so anybody apart from Alex, how can we display, hello, you are years old? So you are, sorry about that, state.h, oh, like that, state.h. Okay, all right. So that's what Andrea is suggesting. So Anita, even though once again no one heard the valuable comments she said.
Sorry, this dot state.h.
So is it state.h or this.state.h? Correct. Remember, once again, you remember stateful components, classes? Every time you have a class, look, this.state.h. So will that work perfectly? Oh, look at what Rochelle said. Rochelle said we don't need the $sign. Do we need it or not? Not really, yeah, not really. Remember guys, we use this $sign when we create a JavaScript function. Yeah, return. You remember that, backticks? In here, we really need the $sign because we are using backticks, we're using JavaScript. But in React, when we are dealing with HTML code, we don't use it. Can anybody tell me what will happen if I check the result? That's right, Tiny. Oh, sorry, it worked. It failed. Can anybody tell me why it miserably failed, by the way? Nope. That's a classic, to be honest, I didn't do it on purpose. That was a typo. I failed. Yeah, I found the problem. So that's a job interview question. Yeah? Why this code doesn't work? Let me zoom it a bit. Wrong.
There is no S after constructor.
Oh, because what Camila said. Camila, can you repeat that?
Constructor is misspelled. There's no S.
The error says, look at what the error says. The error says, syntax error. Super is only valid inside a class constructor. And then I said, hey, wait a minute. I created a class constructor. I didn't. So that I just made that up. Constructor. It even changed the color, yeah? Classic Monday morning issue, guys. All right, constructor. So let's see if it works now. Yeah. So Kaini was right. Hello, you are $24. Yeah. Not a big deal, but look much better without the dollar sign. Any question? No. All right. So.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You just put $sign when you are inside the backticks.
Correct. Absolutely correct, Andrea. You just put the dollar sign when you are inside of backticks. Are we inside of backticks here? No, then no dollar sign. Yeah. Yep.
If you just said what state equals curly brackets age 24.
Here?
Yes.
Yes.
Just remove this on both ends, but it's still one.
So you want me to remove this here, like that, and here? It's a good question, Fish. All right. Can anybody tell me what will that show? Undefined? I think that will throw an error. I may be wrong, but that won't work, Fish. What I know is that won't work, and we'll see why. Yes. Look. Fail to compile. State is not defined. So when you create a class in React, you always have to prefix your variables with this dot. That's the convention. That's what we have to get used to. Yeah? That's it. Any other questions? All right, so now, all right, so I got my title, fine. But now I want to display welcome to Fabric or sorry, not allowed to buy tickets, something like that, yeah? You get the point, right? Depending on how old you are, we display one message or a different message. So, how do we deal with the condition, guys? Ternary operator. What's the ternary operator, Andrea?
It's like is state not age greater or equal than 18. But this goes in a curly brace
Why curly brace?
because it's JavaScript inside JSON.
That's absolutely correct, Andrea. Remember, every time you write JavaScript inside of React, the rule is always the same. There is just one rule. Every time you write JavaScript inside of HTML, always surrounded with curly brace. That's it. Is it a weird rule? Yeah, it's a weird rule, but that's the most important rule. So just learn it, yeah? So, Andrea is saying, hey, curly brace, first of all, and now we do JavaScript magic. All right, so if this age of the user is at least 18 years old, then what? Question mark, then, yeah, you remember the syntax? Then what? All right, so welcome to Fabric.
Inside login member
The quotes, that's a good question. Why? Look, I mean, even if you don't know what he has said, look, you got errors like, hey, that's not right. Yeah. So Andrea is suggesting we need single quote or double quotes. We need quotes here. But why do we need quotes here, but we don't need quotes there? Correct. Because here we are doing just HTML. Yeah. But here, because we open curly brace, we enter a new wall of JavaScript. So that's why we have to change the syntax a bit. Colon.
another string.
Whatever, yeah? Something like that. So, from, well, first of all, will this work as expected? So what will this return? Correct. And if I change the age to 18, still works, right? Because it's greater or equal. And if I'm 17, that's all. Yeah? So that's the way you can decide whether the user deserves a message or a different message, if else. Yeah? If else. From an elegance point of view, remember elegance on the code drip training, will we get any penalty here?
Yes, you have implementation.
Correct. Where, Chuck?
So line 17 and 18, they both need to be indented.
That's right. Chuck is right. Look, because that's the condition in JavaScript. I mean, that's fine. It works. That's not a big deal. But if you want to make sure your code looks beautiful, you do that. Because the thing is, if you think about that, it makes sense, guys. So look, we open curly brace, and then everything is inside of the curly brace. We move it to the right. But now we have a condition, and then A or B, the decision, that depends on the condition. That's why, boom, we move it to the right. Yeah. If you are not sure, hey, is the indentation like that or like that? Yeah? If you are not sure, I always recommend to ask VS Code. Yeah? Until that strategy sounds natural to you, right-click anywhere, and then format document. What is it? Here you go, format document. Pop. See, VS Code will tell you the right way of indenting your code. Be careful, because VS Code sometimes miserably fails. Yeah, sometimes you indent it, and then according to VS Code, that's the right indentation. Yeah, sometimes it goes mad, but 90% of the time, I think, yeah, it works fine.
I think I'm in the 10% bracket.
Say again?
I think I'm in the 10% bracket. I need to reinstall something.
Yeah, fine, fair enough. All right, so yeah, that's the way you decide the rendering strategy. And what if we want to avoid having creepy people in our club, and you are not allowed to enter Fabric if you are, for instance, about 80 years old, something like that, something stupid, right? So how would we say, if you are about 80 years old, then, yeah, I don't know, so like, so different message, like you are very old for this place, I don't know, something like that. Just ignore the semantics of my example, guys.
And is that age?
And, all right, so Andrea, all right, anybody apart from Andrea, because he already managed to build that structure. So anybody apart from Andrea? And Alex.
Yeah, I can have a go.
Chuck?
So space after the question mark.
Yep.
After the question mark.
Sorry, after the question mark, yeah.
Oh no, hang on, I'm sorry. Back to where you were before the question mark.
Before the question mark, yeah.
Yeah, so two double and signs. And then this is where we'll increase our new logic. So it'll be this state of page. What did you want to?
80, for instance.
So over, yeah, 80.
Right? To me, personally, that looks wrong already. Why? Because, look, that's redundant, guys. I mean, if you are greater than 18 and you are greater than 80, I mean, if we got that, you agree with me, this is completely useless? If you are more than 80, for sure you are more than 18, right? Both conditions, so there is no way that this condition is met, but this one isn't. Yeah? So that to me, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure what you are trying to do, but that feels, meh.
No, that's wrong, I agree. So we need to move that logic
Yes,
down to number line 18.
18, all right.
And yeah, that's where it should sit. Question mark.
Question mark.
Get rid of the and sign.
Yeah. Anybody can complete the example apart from Chuck?
Yeah, I think after this, sorry not allowed, semicolon.
After, yeah.
And I think again, sorry not allowed.
So, all right. So here is where we said you are too old for us.
Oh no, so.
On the other way
I
around.
wanted to say, yeah, the other way around.
Like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This line number 17 and 18.
17 and 18, yeah.
So you change the colon with question mark.
Here.
Yeah. Question mark and then colon. Oh wait.
Like that.
No.
No. Where? Here?
Yes, it should be less than 80, right?
Less than 18, all right?
No,
80,
80.
all right. So, okay. So now you said, that's interesting, Fish. Okay, let's ignoring the commas, colons, and all that mess, right? Let's focus on the semantics. So what you got at the moment is A. If you are 3,000 million years old, yeah, if you came from the past, from the Roman Empire, and you will try to join Fabric to see what the guys are doing today, according to this algorithm, what will that very old person get? Welcome to Fabric, you are too old, or sorry, not allowed.
Sorry, could you do 17?
No, wait, no, I don't want to change anything. And I want to ignore, please ignore the commas and everything.
It's going to get you.
You're too old.
Are you sure?
Welcome to Fabric.
That's correct, guys. Chuck is right. If you're 3 million years old, will this condition be satisfied? Yes, so that's it, right? So in other words, that will never be evaluated. Yeah? But look at what Fish suggested. She suggested to change the strategy a bit. Now she said no. If you are less than 80, welcome to Fabric.
We can put and or,
And,
two ampersands,
yeah,
and then two, I don't know what they're called, the lines.
the lines? What do you mean the lines?
The or,
All right, or. So you're less than 80, or what?
less than 18.
Less than 18? All right, so you can join Fabric if you are 7 years old, according to your algorithm. All right? So Fish wants to start again. Right, let's think about the logic, guys. So if you're not sure, I understand that the syntax doesn't really help, right? Because with all the colons, it's a bit... So my suggestion is to do some sort of pseudocode. You know what pseudocode is? Pseudocode? So pseudocode is what you write in a paper, where you explain the structure of your algorithm. It doesn't have to be, you don't care about the commas, the syntax, the parentheses. It's just about make sure you explain the strategy. So according to pseudocode, the strategy is, if user is over 18, no, wait, well, let's keep it simple. If user is over 18, then I want to check if he's over 80 or not. So look, if user is less than 80, welcome to Fabric. Else, you are too old, right? And now, because I got an if here, else, what? You are too young, right? You're not allowed. To me, that's vital to understand the problem. You see? I hope that you agree with me, that's way more readable. If user, I mean, or you can do it the other way around if you prefer. If user is less than 18, yeah, that's it, you're too young. Eh? That's else. But what happens if the user is above or at least 18 years old? Well, then let's check exactly, precisely how old that person is. Okay, he's above 18, but how old he or she is? Still less than 80? Then, all right. But if he or she is above 80 years old, we don't want him or her to get a heart attack, yeah, because of all the music and everything. So then you are too old. Yeah? So to me, that will be the first step to understanding. You need to, this has nothing to do with JavaScript. Yeah? That has to do with logic, yeah? A, B, C, and D. Any question about this pseudocode? No? So now what I will try to do is to rewrite that in proper JavaScript. So to rewrite that in proper JavaScript, I will do something like this.state.user. Actually, let me put that on the right. Can I do that? Will that work? If I zoom it out a bit, maybe? Yeah, maybe? Yeah, okay, let's try that, guys. And actually, let's try to put it in the same level, more or less. Yeah, maybe that will help a bit. All right, let's see if that works. So let me rewrite everything. Yeah, sometimes sometimes it's easy to get confused, and then it doesn't matter what you change, it never works. When that happens, you know what they do, right? Let's get rid of everything and start again. Once you got the idea, all right, can anybody tell me, I give you a hint, you were talking about giving hints before, right? So based on that hint, can anybody, apart from Chuck and Alex and Kaini, tell me how to write that?
This state change, our function, and they are
Greater or equal?
greater than equal than 8.
Yep. New line?
Welcome to Fabric.
Are you sure? You are ignoring that line already. Yeah, I want to translate right to left. Yeah. So I agree on that. Guys, does anybody disagree on the first line? User is greater than 18. But now I have another condition.
Okay, so and less than 8.
No, you are changing the algorithm. So you are making that up. I don't want to add and or. Do you see any and or any or here? Look at the structure. You said if user is greater than 18, then we need another condition. If he is or she is less than 80, so can we add another condition here? Correct. You see, it's much easier than it looks like. Then what? Correct. With or without quotes? With, because we're inside of JavaScript, because of the curly braces, right? Welcome to Fabric. All right. What else? Colon. Else. What? You are too old, right? And now what? Colon. Yes, we need another colon. What do you think about the indentation? To me, that feels wrong. Yeah, let's check what VS Code thinks. Right-click, format document. You see? That's the way it works. So look at the structure. We first of all check if the age of the user is greater or equal than 18. If that's true, then we'll check all of that. We'll check many details. Else, if he or she is not above 18, that's what we return. But if he or she is above 18, then we jump into that bit of code here. Yeah? So as you can see, we can nest as many conditions as you want. That's fine. You need to be a bit careful, because at some point that will be very hard to read.
I was going to say, to make that more readable, wouldn't it be easier if we changed it to less than 18 and we pure? You want to even above?
That's fine, that's fine. So what Alex is suggesting, let me keep that there for reference purposes. Alex is suggesting to do that. This.state.age is less than 18, then you are too young. Else what?
And then the list of state by age, then it's the same. It's just moving that around.
Stage
Less than 80,
less than 80.
then what was Fabric?
That's literally the same, right? It's just a different way of writing the same thing.
More readable. I'm just
Yeah, I'm not against Alex. You may find that code a bit more readable. Why? I can tell you why this is a bit more readable. Because we start from the simplest scenario. Yeah. If he's less than 18, then yeah, out. Yeah. That makes us feel more confident or more comfortable with the algorithm. This one is a bit more complicated, even though it's the same. Here we start with a more complex scenario, and then we display the easiest. Here we display the easiest, and then we display the most complex one.
So how does the system know that we want something of this state of age as an 18?
Yep.
Or we only want people that are over 18?
Sorry, can you ask the question again?
I would have thought the system would be confused and would have said everybody under 18, including those that are under 18.
No, Fizz, because as soon as one condition is met, one condition is satisfied, JavaScript will stop analyzing further down. It will start from top, and as soon as any condition is met, it will display it. it will ignore everything else below. Yeah? So the first one wins. Let's see if it works. Correct. You are 17, you are too young, but if we change the age to something different, like 78, what will be the message, guys? Welcome to Fabric, correct? And what if we are literally 80?
Not really, because it doesn't need to be equal to 80. Condition is not defined to be equal to 80.
So is someone at 80 years old welcome at Fabric?
Still welcome, yes.
Mm.
Less than 80.
Too old, yeah? Why? Is 80 less than 80? Well, I don't know, that's a different, okay, that depends on your business, right? But ignoring the semantics. If the algorithm is right, if that's what business has accepted, if you are working like in the security guy in the main door of Fabric, and you ask the ID of every attendee, so will that person be welcome or not? No. According to this algorithm, you are too old. Does it make sense? Of course, if you don't like that, if you still want to welcome people at 80 years old, what do you have to change? Like that?
No, the other way around.
The other way around? Like that? Yeah, so now, in theory, welcome to Fabric. Does it make sense? Cool, awesome. Anything else, guys? Yep.
There are coding mistakes on the page.
Hmm.
Is there ways to do a bit more dynamic?
I like that, Rochelle. That's a good point. That's a good point. Look, even though that's fantastic, that probably you'll get the job by writing this code, I hope you agree with me. Do you remember what I told you last week about props? That it was a bit exhausting. Prop stop. Yeah. So in here, can I do something super exotic you never thought about, like let age equals this dot state dot age, and now you see that? Boom. Yeah, I just created a new variable. What's the value of the variable? Well, whatever this dot state dot age has. Yeah. So now I hope you agree with me. The code is even more readable because you don't have to type this dot state, this dot state, this dot state 40 million times. And of course, it still works. Welcome to Fabric. Yeah. Can anybody tell me how can I destructure that? Do you remember destructuring? So if I got a user with name Peter, age 34, yeah? Do you remember I could do let name equals user.name, or do you remember we could do that? That's what we call object destructuring. The way it works is, A, please create a new variable called name. All right, no problem. And what's the value of the new variable called name? The value is whatever user.name is. Yeah? So it will assign Peter to the new variable name. So based on that, we've learned last week. If you don't remember that, if you think I'm talking Chinese, please watch the destructuring workshop. Based on that, can anybody tell me how can I rewrite that piece of code, that line, using object destructuring? Let age in curly brace, all right, equals what? User. Sorry, that was just an example. Eh? This is the state. That's correct, Andrea. Yeah. So the way this works is: A, please check on the state object. We're here. Find a property called age. Where is age? It's here. And then get the value 80 and assign it to a new variable called age. That's the same. And if I present you both examples side by side, yeah, these two lines are equivalent. Which one do you prefer and why?
Last one because it can add more environment.
Correct. I like what Andrea said. So imagine that instead of the age, we have age, name, email. Yeah, we can have multiple properties, right? So if we got multiple properties about a given user, of course, we could go one after the other, and then let name equals this dot state dot name, and then let email equals this dot state dot email. I mean, that's fine, right? That's what we've been doing in JavaScript, historically speaking. But I hope you agree with me that these three lines can be combined in a very sexy combo by age, comma, name, comma, email. That's it. This line is equivalent to these three lines. So once again, feel free to choose one or the other. It goes without saying that writing that code is not going to prevent you to get a job. However, if you go to a job interview and the first thing you do is to write that, it's like, boom, I'm here. Where is my job? Anything else, guys? No? It was better before. All right, so it doesn't work because I remove it, right? Let age equals this dot state. So hopefully, if we write that, there you go, it works. Anything else? No? That was it. Thank you for it. Go for it.
So like, you know the very complex else function?
Yes.
You do the same thing, like what kind of specific?
I'm afraid yes, you have to do it. You have to do it. I mean, yeah, what happens if you got like 40 scenarios? If the age is between 18 and 20 and 20 and... I understand at some point, that could be a bit exhausting, yeah? We could be thinking about refactoring the code. Actually, yeah, we can actually leave that to a different session because I may take like 20 minutes to explain that. But at some point, something we could, just to give you the idea. Imagine that we got like 20 scenarios, yeah? 20 and then age 24, 25. So what we could do is we can get bits of that expression and we can move them out to a new function. And at least we will have multiple functions dealing with small if-else expressions rather than having a huge function dealing with 40 different scenarios. Once again, we'll discuss that in a different moment. Yeah, maybe in a coding challenge. Thank you, guys. I'm talking about